We remember our fallen heroes and we celebrate the men that are still here, protecting the sovereignty of the Nigerian state, putting their lives on the line, and making those amazing sacrifices to make sure that the country is protected for external invaders, even though we've had internal attackers for a long time now. And despite the fact that we've had about 3 presidents trying to, sort the issue of insurgency and all of that, from former President Goodluck Jonathan down to former President Muhammadu Buhari, now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we've always had these same security issues every single time. We've invested so much, spent in trillions of naira, hard taxpayers' money, just to make sure that the country is safe. But we have individuals that have constantly put their lives on the line to make sure that the country is safe. Nobody is disturbing us from any of the borders. But then we have internal issues also. I'm talking about these internal challenges. Constant cases of kidnappings around the FCT, in estates, in churches, in schools. Safe. Abuja is the capital territory, is the seat of power. The president is there, all of the ministers are there, the National Assembly, all of the 109 senators, the three, capital of the country. But if the place that houses the powers that be, like one of my bosses would always say, the principalities and powers of Nigeria's political space, the place that houses them, if that place doesn't feel safe, then how do I feel safe? I'm saying in Abakaliki, in Ebonyi, or how do I feel safe if I'm in Shagamu in Ogun State? How do I feel safe if I'm in Tunuwada in Kano? How do I feel safe if I'm in Owerri? How do I feel safe? And we've had that conversation, but yesterday was majorly to celebrate those people that have constantly put their lives on the line, sacrificed the joy of living with their families. There are a lot of soldiers in this country that have not seen their families in years, because they've been moving from one posting to the other, diligent and committed on this job. You certainly get the basically about the armed forces, the ones that have left us and the ones that are with us. We decided to celebrate them yesterday. So we had Prince Valentine talk to us, take us through how we got to this place where the country that used to boast of the biggest regional bloc when it comes to the armed forces. I remember all of the peace mission, the peacekeeping mission in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in Mali, in Senegal. The Nigerian soldiers have always contributed a large chunk to the ECOMOG peacekeeping mission. But look at where we are right now. We can't even keep peace in our own country. And everyone admitted that the challenges that our armed forces have faced is obviously telling on the strength of the region. Of the countries within the ECOWAS, about 5 of them right now are under the military. I mean, you look at Chad, look at Niger, you look at Sierra Leone, and it's just a lot of problem. So my guest yesterday agreed that, well, the fact that we used to lead the charge and we used to contribute the largest chunk when it comes to the number of men that are joining the peacekeeping missions on the ECOMOG, given the UN, but we're also dealing with our own internal problems. So that's certainly giving our forces within the Sahel the chance to say, you know what, the Nigerian army are distracted. Let us, stage a palace coup. Let us, throw away democracy like we saw them did in Chad, like we saw them did in Niger Republic. But I mean, it was safe to say also that my guest yesterday brought up solutions to some of the problems we have, and the first of it had to be the proper welfare of all of these men. The Chief of Army Staff, was very clear on his mission to make sure that nobody within the Nigerian Armed Forces will feel abandoned, either while in service or even when they've left service. So we hope that all of the promises that the president and the state governors made yesterday when honoring the dead and celebrating the living would certainly will not just be paper talks. It wouldn't just be a statement or speeches to appease the media or to appeal to these people. These are things that we get to see. We get to see these people live a better life while in service. Their families are well taken care of. And while they're done, for a couple of them that really spent a lot of their time at the war front, It's always really important for the government to pay attention to the post-service years. I mean, you look at the issues around PTSD, you look at the issues around their reaction, their ability to reintegrate themselves back into the society, to relate with civilians, like they used to call us bloody civilians in quotes now. And I really hope that the government will get to do that. Well, you're live on Mainland 98.3 FM, and today on the show, we're going to be focusing a little on Lagos, and there's a growing concern of affordability of accommodation around Lagos. And yesterday there was a protest, and the funny thing about the protest was the songs that the protesters were singing. I saw a couple of videos of it late yesterday night, and one issue that we've talked about at different conversations, we've had different conversations about is, will the government be, would they be able to provide quality and affordable accommodation to the resident of a cosmopolitan city like Lagos, one of the fastest growing cities in the world in terms of development, in terms of even the population explosion. So a lot of people, some people had the protest yesterday, and a lot of people actually, I saw the numbers, and every one of them had, custom made clothes on, talking about the fact that Italawa were outside, the young people in Lagos cannot afford to pay for it. So it got me thinking. When I was growing up, we used to see low-cost housing estates in the Kotun, in Abeson estates around the Paja, your boss axis. We used to see it around Surulere, somewhere close to the stadium. We used to see it around Egbeda axis. Those were houses, built by the government, and they were given out at low cost to the people. And it's interesting to know that a lot of the people, I used to have a cousin somewhere around Abeson, the Abeson housing estate. They've stayed there almost all their lives. Their parents have houses somewhere else, but they just put those ones up for them because they decided to stay in those houses. A couple of maintenance regularly, but those houses were affordable. Now you look at government coming out with housing schemes these days, and it's interesting to know that houses that are supposed to be low cost, that's the key word, low cost, affordable to civil servants, affordable to low income earners, affordable to the middle class level in the society, affordable to someone that is ready to start up his family and is just on the average salary range. That's exactly what you expect the government to be able to put up. But when you go find out about some of these housing schemes that the government is coming up with, it's interesting to know that probably somebody somewhere actually bought all of the buildings, and then it gets into a resale system. So if the government is not able to meet up with that responsibility, how will the people afford decent accommodation? And I was supposed to have a guest, and just a couple of minutes before the show went up, I got a message from him that he's going to delay a little bit and join us in the course of the show. And I really hope he's going to be able to do that, because I want us to have a robust conversation around this. If the government keeps inviting the private sector into the economy, then the government will need to regulate how the private sectors operate. Now, don't get me wrong. The cost of commodities in the market is something else. The bag of cement today is about 5,000 plus, if not 6,000, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have a house yet, but of course I do market survey. And despite the fact that we have the largest cement producer in Africa, indigenous here, which is Dangote Cement. Okay, I should be paid for that publicity, but I'm just saying that, when you look at the building materials today, before you can get a trailer load of sharp sand, that's a lot of money. Before you can get a trailer load of red sand, so even the people that will build it, you're buying these, you are buying wood, you are buying all of these things. It costs a lot of money. So the question we've been asking is this: would the government be able to really provide accommodation to the population that keeps growing every single day? If you stay around Beggar axis of Lagos, that's Lagos about the expressway, and you just take your time to maybe spend a couple of hours on that Beggar bridge, you see the number of people that comes into this Lagos every day. Buses are coming in every single time. You see trucks loading people, and you're asking, how come everybody just find Lagos as a space where you can explore and grow? It's a beautiful thing. Obviously, one of the biggest, the economy of Lagos is larger than some of the African countries, Lagos alone. So it's obviously, like they would always say, Lagos is no man's land, every man's land. Lagos is the land of opportunities, the center of excellence, as motto is, and all of that. But a housing problem is gradually becoming a big issue, and it seems the government does not have an idea on how to solve this situation. So private property owners are coming into the system, and you need to know how much it will take for you to get a decent room and parlor in this Lagos. I'm not even talking about the island now. I'm not talking about the exclusive areas. I'm not even talking about the GRAs now. I'm talking about the basic places in Lagos, somewhere around here, maybe somewhere around Abule Egba. I'm talking about those basic places where you probably don't have so much in terms of expenses, but it's a lot of problems. Somebody tells you that, oh, I'm staying in a one-bedroom apartment in Lekki and I'm paying 4 million. My service charge is 650,000, and I'm like, how do you pay almost 5 million for, in quotes, a decent apartment where you probably even need to buy water before you can shower because the water there is bad? So the conversation we're going to be having on the show today, which I was really hoping to do with my guest, is how can the government and the private sector synergize? It is very obvious that the government may not be able to meet up with the demand of the decent, affordable accommodation. See, one of the worst things that can happen to you is when you've gone through the hustle and bustle of this Lagos, and then you don't even feel comfortable enough in the place you are going to rest your head. I mean, you don't feel fresh when you wake up the following day, because it's either there's no water here, or it's either this is this, it's either this is that. Every city that is growing like Lagos is should have a decent developmental master plan. Okay, from every local government, there are going to be maybe 100 or 200 blocks of low-cost housing estates that the government will put in place, and it will be exclusive for the people within that local government. We have 57, of course, 57 local government and local council development areas in Lagos across board. Will the government of WG Sanwo-Olu be able to provide accommodation to all of the people in Lagos? My friend would always say that he doesn't even care how much the accommodation costs, but he should be able to afford it with his salary. So you're working in a space, and then your 6 month salary or your 5 month salary cannot pay your house rent. It's a lot of problem. So you work the whole time, and the principal thing you're saving money for is to pay your next house rent. So your landlord comes in, and the truth is this: you can't blame the landlord, especially the new houses. We'll come talk about those renovated buildings later, or the landlord just wakes up all of a sudden and decides to serve quit notice to all of the tenants, and there's no renovation, there's nothing new in the house, and he's bringing in new tenants, and he's collecting, landlord is collecting agent fee. It's the landlord himself that collect agent fee. You still collect damages, collect service charges, and at the end of the day tell you that, oh, the house itself is 650,000, but the total package is 1.1 million. So you're asking, please, where did the 550,000 come from again? Oh, his service charge is 1 year electricity bill, 1 year NEPA rate, 1 year security. Housing in Lagos is gradually becoming an elite thing. How can we solve this problem? How can the government partner with the private sector? It is obvious that if the government cannot do this alone, and if the government leaves the private sector without proper regulating that sector, houses will go as high as all of that, and within the regular average Nigerian salary structure. Civil servants, they are civil servants, this their rent demands. So the landlord just comes in, and then the landlord keeps tormenting you, and then it's a lot of problem. Let's talk about that synergy. How can the government partner the private sector to deliver quality accommodation, and beyond just the quality, affordable accommodation for the people of Lagos? still trying to link up with my guest. I'm hoping he will be able to join us for a few minutes. The property developer is worked within the private sector. Sorry, he worked within government sector, retired and went into private sector. So he's got a lot of experience from both sides of the divide, and that's why I want us to have that conversation today. How can the government synergize with the private sector to deliver proper, decent and affordable housing for this? At some point on the show, if it doesn't, hey, I'll have you to talk to me. Leave my house. I want to use the house. At the end of the day, you found out that there's no renovation, no extension, no painting, no nothing, no repairs. A new person comes and I found out that, okay, how much did you collect the house? 400,000, and I was paying 250. So the landlord want to increase the house. It's not like they changed the roof or they changed the tap in the house. So how can the government come to the rescue of low-income earners in Nigeria, especially Lagos, in terms of providing quality accommodation for them? Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello.
Happy New Year.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Yeah, my name is Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ. I'm calling from Agbado.
Madam, good to have you join us. Thank you.
Yes. You know, this low-cost housing is not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It's our rulers, because I don't call them leaders. If they don't learn from people that do it at in the past, like Tɣᴇ, when he was building this low-cost housing, they're supposed to go there and learn from him. And learn from him. How did he do it? It's not a rocket science, but they don't want to do it. Instead of that, they will get to the money. See, in this country, everybody is on their own, because this government are not ready to do anything. Even though they build the house, go and hear the money that they are putting on it. That even a civil servant cannot even afford it. The rest of their life, they cannot afford it. They should do something. Go and learn about the past people. Go out there to see. That's what they're supposed to do. Step of the past. There is no classic houses for civil servants. I have so many people that benefit from it. Just today. They are saying that they omega 60, omega 60. And they done the plan for so much.
Madam Tɣᴇ, I'm really struggling to hear you, but I totally understand what you're trying to say. Beyond the housing or whatever, leadership basically is not casting stones. It's not rocket science. It's not like the people that are properly offering quality leadership or administering their state or their countries properly. They probably don't even have two heads, or certainly don't have two heads. Rather, they didn't pick that wisdom from the streets. It's basic things. As long as you put up yourself for a position of authority, you should be flexible and be ready to learn. You don't know it all, which is something we need to look into. Getting houses in Lagos is something else. And like I said, you can't blame the private developers. It is what they buy in the market. So how can the government come into this in terms of maybe subsidizing the materials, or maybe the government would have a market where you can come in and buy things? Because the property developer will tell you that, the property that we said 25 million to complete before is probably going to cost us 40 million now. So we'll certainly increase the rent, and there's nothing you want to do about it. Hello, good evening. Hello. Yeah, I can. Good evening.
Okay. My name is WG %.
You're welcome.
The problem we have in Lagos concerning housing is as a result of other state governors not doing anything. I bet you some people don't even have any business in Lagos here. Some left 3-4 bedroom flats in their state. Now come to Lagos to be paying over 1.2, 1.5 million naira, which is not supposed to be so. If other governors have put in place the normal thing, attract investors, but everybody down to Lagos. In fact, some people don't even have house. They sleep under the bridge. So if you go in front of the general hospital, you see how people on the road. In front of the general hospital, the one in Obakran, that's where people sleep now. they wake up, they bath everywhere, anywhere they find themselves. So I think other governors should stand up and do the right thing in their state so people can live comfortably. Because the government cannot feed themselves because of masses. And I don't think government can do everything for us. They can't do everything for us. That's just why I say this.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you follow this conversation from where we started from, I only ask for synergy because in a country or in a state that the population rate is growing explosively almost on monthly basis. I remember there was a time we were having a conversation with Honorable Commissioner for Information, Honorable Omotoso, and he was talking about the fact that, oh man, the government is doing enough in terms of keeping a tab on the people coming into Lagos. And I just laughed where I'm sitting. I was like, the government is doing even more than enough, because with what I see, especially from the axis of the country where I stay, of the state where I stay, the number of people trooping into this Lagos is something different, and you can't blame them. The moment the people sense prosperity in your state, when people sense opportunities in your state, I would certainly come in. I imagine how many people came into this Lagos the moment we sorted the issue of COVID-19, and then the whole interstate restriction was lifted. I knew a lot of people that migrated to Lagos because their states were literally grounded, and so everybody wants to pick their lives and continue and find a source of living for themselves, and Lagos provides you that opportunity. No matter how you see it, you would always find your ways and bearings around this Lagos. So the population would continue to increase, and it's obvious that the government cannot do enough. So the private sector has obviously taken over this conversation. And how can the government come in? We know that the government cannot mandate them to build a certain kind of house and sell at a certain kind of type of, or let me say, price or stuff. The government cannot. The government can just say, you know what, we know that it's difficult, but that's what I want you to talk to me about. How can the government fix this? A lot of us feel like, yes, in major cities around the world, government provides accommodation, low-cost housing estates. The key word there is the cost. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, good to have you join us on the show today.
Yeah, thank you very much. The housing deficit in Nigeria is about 28 million units presently. So if we now bring it down to a state like Lagos, which is a cosmopolitan town, and that is the New York of the USA, you can then understand how difficult it is and how expensive land is within Nigeria. We could remember the good old days of the Jacon days, where we had the local housing estates all over Lagos. And how much was it then? Probably 5,000, 3,000, 2,000. Even as at then, people could not even afford it. And people got mortgages and all of that to do it. Today, with your minimum wage at probably 50 or 60,000, how much of that can you use in getting yourself, a mortgage to get a house? How much is even a one-bedroom flat in Lagos? If it's built, where do you even want to build it? What is the cost of land? Even at 10 million, it simply means that people who don't earn up to 200,000 a month cannot take a mortgage to be able to finance that, because you need about 67% of whatever you earn, you understand, as your principal, excluding interest. And interest of today, even if you go by the Federal Mortgage Bank, I think they're doing probably about 9%. So you're talking about paying about 95 to 96 or probably 100,000 monthly. That's 1.2 million a year times 10, that's 12 million. How many people can afford that? So it just goes to say that even in towns and places around Lagos, where people have moved to, rent has generally gone up, because it's the law of economics, where there's much demand, price goes up.
Sure.
So it's a big challenge. We're looking for those kind of houses in Lagos will be difficult.
So
because
now,
land is too expensive.
My question is this: it's obvious that the government cannot provide all of these, deficits. You talked about 28 million housing units. I mean, that's so much to talk about. So how can the government synergize with the private sector? The private sector.
Well, for me, I think government needs to start looking at collaborations with states around them, where land is probably cheaper. Then thank God we have rail moving between Lagos and Ibadan. And I think that is a good one, where people can join and come to Lagos for work.
And just go back.
Which is somewhat cheaper, because the kind of money they want to make off land and the kind of land they have. Even they are doing basically some houses. I still remember that K2 LCDA did one PPP project recently. So I'm not sure, it's about 40 or 50 units, but it's expensive. It's not for the poor. That's the truth. So it's a real big one. And I don't know how they are going to run into that and begin to think about it. But for Lagos and for what we know about them, they will get a way around it. But it's not really going to be cheap, and it's not going to be for the poor. That's the ugly side of it. So it's a national problem, and we need to look at adjoining states so that government can help us build those states so that we can connect to Lagos and be better people. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you very much. I'm always looking forward to your conversation, Mr. Lakule. I mean, I've always said it, we don't just criticize, but always prefer solutions to some of the challenges that we are facing as a nation. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello?
Hello,
okay.
Good evening.
You're welcome. Your name and where are you calling from?
Thank you. I'm Austin. I'm calling from Amor.
Okay.
Yes, I have contrast opinion on this. Now, you know, when the seaport apart from the one in our Papa, the one within Ibejulepi also, the statistics show that as soon as the seaport was commissioned by the last administration, which is yet to be completed, some percentage of people has moved down to Lagos State, which we know these people. So now those percentage of people that moved down to Lagos State moved down because of the seaport. So meaning that the advantage there is that they can see it as an opportunity, and it's also a state of great opportunity. Now this can be cured. Like there was a scholar that says if each state can do that. So what the government will do now, both the federal and the state government, because this is more of Lagos State, all other states are not really having that issue. So if more of seaports are being established in some states that has water interval, chasing, and a seaport is being put there for commercial purpose, whereby there will be a ray and there will be a channel to Lagos State as well. I think people will tend to move down there as well. I want to establish businesses which will also collapse the population in Lagos State. Then also, I also think that the government can actually do this. One, let the government take the statistics of data, people in Lagos State and their occupation and work, and see how they can be able to merge, that is, work with the private sector, most especially the housing, this is our own housing estates within, and see how they can negotiate their way and bring some prices down. So with that, first let them, because the government of Lagos State don't really know the population in Lagos State. First, they have to know people living in Lagos State first.
So that you can
know
meet
the amount of land mass.
You can meet
and
their
from there,
needs.
they can be able to plan based on their data. But when there is no data and we keep saying Lagos State is populated, how do we know? So we need the data first. So from the data, we know what we need. And from there, it will give the government an opener to plan better.
Thank you very much. The solutions are coming up, and I actually believe that the relevant authorities within Lagos State are actually listening. Like I said, Lagos is a very attractive state. Neighboring states, it's not even neighboring states. There's no states, even the FCT, that you won't find their indigenes in Lagos. I remember during the off-circuit elections in Imo, Kogi and Bayelsa, that was November 11th, that was last year. You know, we were calling them and they say we're mobilizing, we want to charter bus, we want to go to Kogi to go and vote. So we have that huge population, and you can't blame the people. Once they sense that, oh, there's prosperity in your land, let's come in and see how we can better our lives living here. So they come into this space and they expect their accommodation needs to be met, they expect their social services needs to be met, they expect their demands and expectations to be met, because that's why they left, where some of them are more comfortable, to come into the inconvenience of a cosmopolitan city like Lagos. So how can the government work on this to make sure that the people can afford, or they can have access to the kind of housing that they can afford? Yes, let's get to that. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening. Yes, you're live on Mila 98.3. Your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, let me remain anonymous, but I'm calling from Ijebu.
Okay. Are you a landlord?
No, I'm not a landlord, I'm a tenant.
Okay, go on, talk to me.
You see, this, concerning this housing problem, what I really wish that the Lagos State government can do is to partner or liaise with most of all these landlords in Lagos. The problem is just that those that are swooping in from other states to Lagos, they are making things a little bit difficult for the tenants, for tenants in Lagos. The thing is that, for example, now, if for example, someone wants to maybe rent an accommodation, for example, maybe like a one-room accommodation now, and the landlord is telling such a person, this is a specific amount, you pay this, you pay that, you pay this, and somebody else from outside, another person, another tribe, will now come and tell that same landlord that he or she is going to pay double of the amount that he needed money, will definitely go for the higher bidder. That is just the problem. That is the problem. So I believe that maybe if the Lagos State government can discuss, come in partnership with the landlord, because even in Lagos State there are some houses that are very old. There are old houses, and yes, the landlord will tell you that he wants
dollar has gone up, so he's increasing his house rent.
Yes. I grew up in Lagos State. I know some houses that are maybe 40 years old or 50 years old. But still, if you want to collect such an apartment, the landlord will still keep on telling you that you are going to pay this, you are going to pay that, you are going to pay this for a house that is almost 40 years old, which is very bad. And there's one other thing again. For example, if the owner of a property, if a landlord passed away, you will see that the family of maybe the said late landlord will now start coming and will start evicting tenants, telling them that they want to renovate this, they want to do that, they want to do this, they want to increase their rent, they want to demolish, or they want to sell this, and actually it will lead people to start thinking, and some of them will be homeless. Okay. So I believe that.
Go on, please. Go on. I'm listening to you.
So I believe that the Lagos State government, if they want to do things, they should promulgate a law, maybe specifically to tell the landlord, okay, this is the length of rent you should take, maybe a 6 months, basically 6 months, because the low income earner.
Hello. Oh, okay. I would appreciate if you can kindly call back. See, I'm not talking about the terms of the house. I'm not talking about what the landlord tells you to do, whether they tell you to do 1 month or bring a relative that was standing for you. Some landlord will tell you they don't want to take a single person, they want family. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the availability and the affordability of those houses. That's the issue on the show today. it is obvious that the government alone cannot meet the housing demands of the people in Lagos. 28 million deficit is what we have. Units in terms of how it looks like the private sector operators are having a field day. Nobody is regulating what they do apart from the building collaborate with the private sector to make sure. Hello. Hello, good evening. Pastor Ambrose, please, your radio set is loud, so maybe you can help me put it off.
Put it off. Good evening, my name is Ambrose.
Good evening.
With due respect, this whatever we are saying now does not need any anonymous now. It's not a delicate issue. I want to also greet, he said I didn't greet him the other day, WH Happy New Year. Mabinu. So, you say the landlord will say dollar has gone up. Is it not true? It's true now. Landlord who built a house and he does not have any job, he will eat from the house now. Okay, you and I will live here in Magboro, and at least anybody who cannot live in Lagos, they should come to this side of the Lagos, of Ogun State. Okay, you know the problem. Okay, do you believe that the most expensive or the best place to work in is Lagos State Civil Service? Lagos State Civil Service is more rewarding than Federal Civil Service. I'm telling you, apart from their salary, once you get to the level of maybe assistant director or deputy director, the money they make, okay, civil servant cannot make it. Go and see all those civil servants. Go and see the houses they are building. They will build 8 flats, 12 flats. Civil servants in Lagos who are just level 12, level 14. You know, from Lagos. There's so much money in Lagos. And when you see, the only way we can, curb all of this, that's your issue now, is for us to make sure that the cost of living goes down. All over the world, the volume of people determine how much people pay. Okay, do you know that Ibafo developed before Magboro? But do you know that today, Magboro is more expensive? Because when Magboro eventually opened up, the demand for houses in Magboro. But another thing that we can do, people have not, you just be seeing farmland. And inside this farmland, there are estate and workers in there. Agriculture is one of the things that we need to decentralize places like Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, and all of that. But we don't have them. So this is why, as big as Ibadan is not congested. If you are paying a trip from Oshodi to Ojota in Lagos for 400, if you go to Ibadan, they will collect 200. And Ibadan is very big. So I think that we need to decentralize all of this, create employment, agriculture. Then what is happening to Ajaokuta steel industry? What's happening to all of these steel industries? They are moribund now. So if you are talking of the congesting cities, in my hometown one time, there used to be agreed whatever. But eventually during John McKinney's tenure in the former Bender State, but today now, all of those places have been taken over back by the original owners. So where the dollar is a factor, the agreed is a factor, then the concentration on all of these highbrow places, they are also factors. For example, in Ikoyi, the amount you pay in Ikoyi is not the amount that you pay in Ogudu GRA. The amount you pay in Ogudu GRA is not the amount you pay in Ojota. So these are some of the factors of where all things being equal, of where they being by Nigeria and so on.
Thank you very much. Pastor Ambrose, 09136000410. So basically, we're just looking at how the government, the state government, can collaborate, or how they can reach a point or a meeting point with the private, property developers, especially in Lagos. Like I said at the start of the show, we're focusing on the housing deficits that we have in Lagos at the moment. There was a protest yesterday by some concerns Lagos residents, saying that houses are becoming unaffordable. People cannot get decent shelter over their heads anymore. They can't take care of their families. They can't do this. And I decided to have that conversation on the show today. I was supposed to have a property developer, a former regulator that is now into private practice. I would have really loved us to look at both sides of the divide. But again, we decided to open up the conversation, and it's been an amazing time so far on the show. So let's pick more calls before I will take the headline news. Then we'll come back to continue. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can. Your name, where are you calling from?
Collins from Shomolu.
Okay, Mr. Collins from Shomolu, you're welcome.
Okay. You see, for me, developers are one of the problems that we are having in terms of house now in Lagos. Because houses now, to rent a house now, even the one you are living now, is becoming very unbearable to pay the price, to pay the rent rather. Because, these developers now, one room is actually going in Lagos now. Even if they have to build one room, they build it with kitchen and toilet inside of it. In most cases, they build cage, what I refer to as cage. They don't build standard rooms anymore. And they put a high rent price on it. That young people now find it very difficult to settle down now. And this makes people now to go into crime, doing all sorts to get money to balance up, So for me, and the old houses too, since they are seeing what the developers are doing, they are increasing their rent. So for me, I think the government can come in. And sometimes I do ask the question, what is agreement? The place I am living now, I pay for agency and agreement, but I got the place myself. And I ask, what is agreement? If it's just the paper that the man gave me, just the rules and regulation, is that what I should be charged for? Maybe like 100 or 50,000 or even more than in some cases. So I think the government can come in there and then take your rent. Nothing like agreement. Even if there is agreement, let it be like 10,000. It's just a paper you print out and give the tenant, so that can reduce the stuff. And then if the government can also build houses and rent it at cheaper rates, especially for Lagos workers, if they can get it at cheaper rate, and then they move to the site, it will reduce the numbers, and then other people will have chance to rent. You get what I'm saying?
Thank you very much. I really appreciate 09136000410. I think everyone agrees at this point now that the government can obviously not meet the needs of these, the housing needs that we have in Lagos alone. So there's obvious need for a collaboration between the government and the private, property developers in Lagos. I know there are associations. They also have their own regulatory agency, or amongst themselves. But the government needs to come in. We're not saying that they should take it over, because they can't. You can't tell me what to do with my money. As a private citizen, I have the right to invest in whatever I choose to invest in. That's why I said the government needs to come together and reach an agreement. I don't know what the terms of the agreement can be or will be. That's why I'm asking you now. Hey, we have to come together and have this conversation. Otherwise, a lot of people will live on the streets, under the bridges in Lagos. It's as simple as that. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello. Okay. Good to have you join us. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Chinedu. I'm calling from Ikeja.
Okay, Mr. Chinedu. This is the first time you're calling on the show.
Yeah.
I figured out. You're welcome.
Hello, can you hear me? Lagos State, the government, they should look on how they can develop other states who come to Lagos State to work and live. They want sports. They are not working. They should make sure they look at the work. I believe that we set up their
Yes, in Lagos, and I'm committed comfort that I need. That's what so and the basic setup. So how does that on the show to
Call me and connect, please.
technical guys will be able to help me trace your number. We've got loads of numbers dropping in on our notification here, but we'll try. Thank you, by the way. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, good evening. Okay, I want to think that you try and call us back 0913600410. Yes, don't forget you can go on our social media platforms, facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM, or you go on X, formerly Twitter, mainland 983, go on YouTube and Instagram, mainland 98.3. To join our social media family, and you can also join the conversation from there. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, yes, good evening.
Okay, you're welcome. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Michael from Solere.
Okay, Mr.
That's
Michael.
Mr. Bayeri. Yeah, I think that topic is a very good topic, because the major challenge in Lagos is housing.
Yes.
And the current challenge comes from both the government and the people. The people, in the sense that even just look around your house, around your area. Once somebody move out from an apartment now, another person is entering the apartment, the price that the new person will pay is totally different from what the old person was paying. So there should be regulation that, okay, houses in so areas should be so range. And apart from that, there are some lands that we are misusing in this state. For example, what is prison doing in Ikoyi? We all know the value of a plot of land in Ikoyi now. Why can't they relocate that prison to another place? Because it's taking on hectares of land. Exactly. So if they can do something, map out some areas like that, there will still be some additional lands that we could that people can actually invest in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, that's a different twist to the conversation, but it's okay. I will come back on the turn of 5 o'clock to continue the conversation. Well, it looks like my guest not meeting up today is a blessing to everybody, because it seems we have a lot of ideas on how to fix the housing deficit that we have in Lagos. In fact, in Nigeria, 28 million is the deficit range that we have. So imagine that what one number would certainly be in Lagos. Hey, maybe until we do the next population census, the next head count that we do, then we'll sort the conversation around between Lagos and Kano, which has the largest population. I've stayed in both cities before that. I can tell you for a fact that the population explosion in Lagos, you can't compare it with anywhere else. So how do you meet this housing challenge? Because people coming into Lagos, the first thing you want to do is to find a place to sleep. Okay, we'll take the airline news by 5. We'll also pay some bills. The situation returns. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. I'll take a couple of messages on Facebook as well. But by 5 o'clock, we'll come back and continue the program. This is the Situation Room, your live on mainland 98.3 FM. And my name is OPEYEMI AKINYODE. I'll be back shortly.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
You're listening to the sound of Lagos. Mainland FM 98.3.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on Mainland FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. President Tinubu says Buhari has not interfered in his cabinet composition. WG summons emergency meeting over worsening security in FCT. NNPP urges Supreme Court to declare Bello winner of Taraba governorship election. On the foreign scene, New Zealand minister resigns after shoplifting allegations, attributes behavior to poor mental health. Reds heads to New Hampshire after Trump's big Iowa win. And in sports, Sadiq included in Sociedad's Copa del Rey squad after exiting Super Eagles AFCON camp injured. World's fastest man, Noah Lyles, resigns supreme as the #1 male sprinter of 2023. That's the headline news on Mainland FM. Details at 5:30.
Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
There are some things that stress you, and there are others that come with ease, like getting a new smartphone.
Easy.
Paying for the smartphone in installments.
Too easy.
Even getting bonus data upon purchase.
Way too easy.
Upgrade easily to the Itel P55 5G smartphone with Easy Buy to pay in installments and get up to 10 gig of data for 6 months. Other smartphone and data options also available. Visit any smartphone retail outlet to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Hey there, tech enthusiasts! Get ready to ignite your world with the all-new Tecno Spark 20.
That's right! The Spark 20, with its stunning display and powerful features, is here to redefine your smartphone experience.
We've also partnered with Google and MTN to bring you even more. With the Spark 20, Google apps, and loads of free MTN data, your digital life just got smarter and more connected.
Grab your Tecno Spark 20 today and step into a world where style meets technology.
Tecno, stop at nothing.
Official partner of the African Cup of Nations 2023.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with non-seasoning cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrots, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of no cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So, go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
Yo, Nigeria, wake up! They say make hay while the sun shines. It is wise to link your NIN, your Airtel line, ASAP. Big Brother isn't watching your phone calls. The NIN police are. Don't be the housemate voted out of your network. NIN registration is not a joke, fam. No NIN, no network. It is not maybe, it is blocked. Yes, blocked. No calls, no data, no flexing online, no Instagram, no X, nothing. You'll be a ghost. But hold up, don't stress. You have the power to avoid being disconnected. Dial *346#. Boom! Your 11-digit NIN pops up like magic. Now link that bad boy to your Airtel line. Dial *996#. Bam! You are safe. You won't be blocked unaware. So, what are you waiting for? This isn't that time for I go do am tomorrow. Tomorrow, it be too late. Don't be the last one standing on the wrong side of the network firewall. Dial those codes, link your NIN, and keep your Airtel line buzzing this new year. And if you get blocked, don't panic. Walk into any Airtel store with a valid ID and your NIN slip. You won't be reconnected. Don't be a bad boy. Dial *346#. Boom! Your NIN pops up. Dial *996. Boom! Link your Airtel to your NIN.
always give me joy. That's why anytime when I dey cook like this, I dey always season them with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatasheo, shombo, onions. No one wey I no dey put. Now it make my pikin them they always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never will. I want more.
You see, all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them with no cubes for that to get delicious taste. Today, chop better.
There are some things that stress you, and there are others that come with ease, like getting a new smartphone.
Easy.
Paying for the smartphone in installments.
Too easy.
Even getting bonus data upon purchase.
Way too easy.
Upgrade easily to the Itel P55 5G smartphone with Easy Buy to pay in installments and get up to 10 gig of data for 6 months. Other smartphone and data options also available. Visit any smartphone retail outlet to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Hey there, tech enthusiasts! Get ready to ignite your world with the all-new Tecno Spark 20.
That's right. The Spark 20 with its stunning display and powerful features is here to redefine your smartphone experience.
We've also partnered with Google and MTN to bring you even more. With the Spark 20, Google apps and loads of free MTN data, your digital life just got smarter and more connected.
Grab your Tecno Spark 20 today and step into a world where style meets technology.
Tecno, stop at nothing.
Official partner of the Africa Cup of Nations 2023.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
I wanna be in your life until the night is over.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
You're welcome back to the show. We're certainly on the home stretch, and don't forget that by 5:30 you can join us for the full bulletin of the headline news you just listened to, and of course by 6 o'clock we'll come up with the Tuesday edition of Sports Cruise on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. It's been the season of the big teams not getting the expected results. Yesterday it was the turn of Cameroon drawing with Guinea, and much later in the night it was Algeria drawing Angola. Don't forget that Egypt have drawn Mozambique, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and also drawn Equatorial Guinea. All of these teams in their first games. Well, I will talk more of that by 6 o'clock when we come around for Sports Cruise on Mainland 98.3 FM. Wale Adigo will be joining us for that and so much more. Well, I will back to the conversation. From 4 o'clock, we start looking at balancing up the housing deficit that we have in Lagos. So we've all admitted at this point that Lagos is obviously a cosmopolitan city, one of the fastest growing cities in the world, one of the biggest economy in West African region. Like I said, and I'm not even mincing words, Lagos economy is larger than a lot of other African countries. So I will certainly try to match up the population explosion with the accommodation demands that we have in Lagos. And we've all established the fact that the government certainly cannot meet up that constant demand. Every single day, new people are coming into Lagos, and upon your migration into a new city, the first thing you certainly want to set to is your accommodation. Whether you're staying with someone or you're renting a space of your own, you would certainly want a place to at least keep your bag and then see how you can face the hustle and go look for where your daily needs will be met. But I'm not even saying the government has failed. I'm not putting the blame on the table of the government. You certainly want to have enough people in your state so that you can have your plan and work something out. But the government certainly cannot meet up the demand for accommodation that we have in Lagos. So the private sector had been they've been brought in long time ago, but then the private sector seems to be putting this conversation way out of the reach of the middle income earner or the salary earners out there. You can barely get a decent accommodation if you are living on the minimum wage. So how can we reconcile? How can the government reach a meeting point with the private operators or property developers in Lagos? That's what we're looking at on the show today. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good evening,
Yeah,
sir.
I can hear you. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Ekati. I'm calling back.
Okay, you called earlier. I think the network took you off.
Yes.
Okay.
What I want to say is that in a country that we don't have data, we are just guessing, suggesting. We are 20 million, we are 100 million, we are 200 million. You can't plan for what you don't know. You can't plan for what you do. That is why all these problems that we are having in this country is facing us today. Because since how many years now that the government is supposed to do census? Not how many of us we are in this country so that they can plan ahead. But they don't do so. And we don't have any government that sits down and plan like 100 years. Because every day people must move. And you don't tell me where am I going to go? Where the destiny that I'm going, anywhere that I like, I can go there and reside with my family or only me. So every country, every nation has to have plans on the ground so that the coming ones, like 10 years, new generation is coming up. The one that they born today, in 10 years' time, there will be another generation. That's how government works. But in our own case, it's not like that. We are just guessing. We are just suggesting. We are 100 million. We are 200 million. And we don't do so. How can you plan for it? See, all these things, it boils down to our government. It boils down to our government because they don't put the necessary things on the ground. See, even though they build all the houses in Lagos, or they do everything without data, without doing census, how many of us can afford a expensive house? How many can afford a low house cost? You can't do anything. So let the government start with how many are we in this Lagos or entire Nigeria. That's where we can plan for it. Then they move on to another state.
Thank you, Madam.
Without planning, they can never solve the problem.
Thank
Let
you.
them go to China and learn.
Thank
go
you.
to New York and learn. Please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, unfortunately, the last census we had in the country was 18 years ago. We're supposed to have another census, I think it was supposed to start on the 3rd of May. That's 2023. And some way, somehow, it was actually moved till 2024. And I've been privileged enough to go through the budget of 2024. I'm not sure. I would still go back again and check, but I'm not sure if the 2024 budget was captured, 2024 census was captured in that budget. I'll still go check, but I think that was one of the top 3 things I was really looking forward to in the budget. It wasn't, but I'll still go back and truly confirm. But I want to really believe that I didn't make a mistake when I went through it. But so the question is this: if we continue to guess, the last census we had was 17 years ago. Let me say 18 years ago now, and the population was put at about 142 million or thereabouts. So as it is now, as at December last year, the NBS approximated the population to be about 228 million people in this country. 220, that's almost about 88 million people from what we used to be 17 years ago to what we are now. So we just keep guessing, oh, the people in Jigawa, 17 years ago they were 3 million, now they should be. Nobody plans a country like that. Oh, in the last election, Kano was 32 million, Lagos was 28 million, so by now Lagos should be 40 million, Kano should be. So we just keep approximating what proper data should give us. So I think the government needs to find a way to conduct a proper population census in this country this year, so that states like Lagos can properly plan for the people that are staying here. I think that's one of the ways to start, because when you look at some of the data, some of the issues that we have in this country, they tell you that the NSIPs, there's the social register. How did you come up with the social register in a country where you've not had a census in the past 18 years? We just keep approximating what the population should be based on what we think it should be. There's no city that will grow if you continue to live at that level. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Oh dear. Maybe you try and call us back, or you can drop your messages on any of our social media platforms, facebook.com/mainland98.3 FM. I'll pick your comments there. I would certainly read them. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Steve. I'm calling from Ogun State.
I didn't get your name.
I'm Steve. I'm calling from Ogun State.
Okay, Steve from Ogun State. You're welcome. Hello, Steve. Can you hear me? Okay. Let me go to Facebook. Okay, the calls are coming in. Let me pick more calls. Then we'll go to our social media space to read your comments.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I think it's better now.
My name is John Peters.
You're welcome.
Good. I am calling from Lɪධᴇ. Okay, I've been listening, and let me just give you some certain things. Okay. Okay.
I'm with you.
We need each other. Let me be very honest with you. When I say we need each other, I mean we need each other. Government and developers, we need each other. Okay, do you know how much a bag of cement is cost right now? Supply to site is about 5,700 naira for a bag. Do you know how much 15 mm iron rod is costing now? 12 mm, 10 mm, and 8 mm. A ton right now is going for about 600,000 naira on each of it. Do you know how much supply to site cheapest cost? The one we call granite. It's about 480,000 naira for 40 tons or 30 tons. Do you know how much a shaft stand is cost? Do you know how much POP cement is costing? Do you know how much a full board of glass for Arubaco and the rest of other things is costing in the market right now? Okay? To build a house right now in Nigeria, I'm not talking about Lagos alone, but you have to build through your nose. You have to pay through your nose. So I've been listening when some people are commenting. I'm just laughing. You know, I'm laughing. Why? Because everybody is speaking from his own point of view, but nobody's finding it easy. But we need governance. We need government so that everything can be okay. Property developers are not finding it easy. And let me just leave it on code like that. If we are not finding it easy, I must be very honest with you. Do you know how much the labor right now, even if you want to get a qualified engineer to put down structure, do you know how much you pay them? Do you know how much you pay your architecture? Do you know how much, even if you want to engage people on a daily pay, a daily pay right now is going for 7,000 naira.
It's even worse. It's better you just get the contractor to get the whole quotation at
I
once.
don't want to leave things on code. When I say we need each other, I really mean we need each other. You know, Ambrose said something about dollar, you know, and he's 100% correct in what he said. Because when you check most of the things I just mentioned to you, some of them are imported. Like when you talk about the pillars for the POP, for the POP cement, the glasses, the people that will fabricate it for you, all those things we buy from Aluminium Village. You know how much it costs? So the truth is this. In government is not all about noise making. It's about critical thinking because everything is factored in it. Okay? If we are going to get a low-cost housing or whichever way we want to put it, we need government in all of it. Okay? If government is going to provide a house, let them provide a low-cost housing for the people. But if they cannot do it, then that is where we need the subsidy. Okay, for them to begin to subsidize on certain things for property developers. Okay, because somebody cannot build a house with the millions of naira, and you want him to give it to you at a cheaper rate. How many years will he use to, to recoup back his money? So it's a serious matter here. The matter you are raising is very important because everybody needs shelter and everybody deserves shelter.
True.
Okay, and we need government to intervene. Okay, so that we can marry each other and everything will be fine. Okay, you cannot just put the thing on the property
on
developers.
the property developers.
So
Yes.
where do we get the funding from? Then after we have done all the structure and everything, you want us to just give it out just like that. It's not done now. We are businessmen. Okay. Thanks,
Thank
and,
you.
God bless. We need each other.
Thank you very much. Well, if you've been following this conversation since you started, I've not even put any blame on anybody's table. I've not blamed the property developers, neither have I blamed the government. That's why all I've kept on saying since we started is how can the government and the property developers, the private sector operators, how can they reach a point of agreement? Okay, we're going to subsidize building materials for you, or if you buy land on this so and so place, and then we go into public private partnership, we do this, we do that. I've not said the government can do it all, neither have I said the private sector are doing too much, because you buy a bag of cement in the market today for 5,000 and you are going back tomorrow, they tell you that it's now 5,007. To deliver it at the site is 6,100. You will certainly make your money. It's as simple as that. So the people working would reap you. The contractor would also, sometimes if you don't supervise them well, they will even use substandard product for you. It's a whole lot of issues. So that's why I said, I'm not saying the government is at fault, neither am I saying the property developers are also at fault. I'm just saying that to better the lot of the people staying in Lagos, are we talking of subsidy? Are we talking of government being deliberate about investing in low-cost housing estates? How do you think we can close up these deficits that we have in Lagos? Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, you're welcome. Hello. Hello.
The government has no business building houses.
I'm really struggling to hear you. Can you change your location a little bit? I don't want to take you off. I know how tough it can be to get across to us. Can you hear me now?
Is it okay this way?
Yes. I think it's better now.
Is it better now?
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the government has no business building houses. Should do what they call federal housing loan. How do you do the federal housing loan? At the beginning, the government will target first-time homeowner, somebody that's never owned a house before. And the government will make the interest so low that what you are paying for your house is just the same thing as what you are paying as a rent. And people like carpenters, mechanics, shop owners, everybody, they can apply for the loan. Everything you guys are doing is just build a low come and be giving everything to civil servants. It doesn't go that way. Then we talked about census. I beg of you, Mr. Okoyemi, don't talk about census again. We'll be telling this government, let's install that system that will be telling us our population every day. Which country do you see doing census again?
I mean, let's start from somewhere.
Which country? Look, when I started Germany in the 70s, the German Chancellor, Helmut Schmidt, when they asked what the German population, before I went to bed last night, this is the population. By the time I wake up in the morning, there must be plus or minus. Plus are the newborn, minus are those people that died. And you'll be telling us our population neighborhood by neighborhood, street by street.
Now, let me give me a few seconds, and this is why I said, whatever templates we want to build on, would certainly need to do census. The last we had was in 2006, and this is 2024. That's about 18 years ago. And the population of what we had then was about 140 million. And you and I know that we're way millions more than that. So even if you want to, do daily updates, we must have a base. We must have a data that will continue to upgrade and develop on. That's what I'm saying. What do you want to do daily upgrade on when you don't have a ground data to operate on?
It all starts with our housing data. Government must get the housing data. How many streets do we have in this country? You don't know. The government doesn't know. How many houses we have on this street? You don't know. The government don't know. How many people live in there? These are the data we have to have. And once we have this data, the lady that called, I think, planning will be better neighborhood by neighborhood, street by street. And this system will be telling us how many people were born yesterday, how many people died yesterday. Every day. I spent almost 10 years in Germany, the then West Germany. I didn't see them doing census, but they know the population of every part of their country. The same thing in America. Do you see America going out, shutting everyone, every place is done like it's doing 2006? Lock the whole country up, saying you are doing census. Why can't we don't want to develop. There is a system that will be telling us our population every day. That is what we need to go for. Okay? And this housing problem, government should put it in a way that everybody can come. You report your income to the government.
Okay.
You report your income. I'm a mechanic.
Thank you.
I'm a shop owner. This is my annual turnover. Based on that, they will give you loan to go and build your house.
Thank you.
All these people coming forward.
Thank you.
That is tax based. Government will be collecting taxes from them.
Thank you very much. Well, I totally understand what you're talking about, but again, data is life. It's something that it helps you to navigate your plans, the short-term, medium-term, and long-term plans. So if you want to have house-to-house, you want to know the number of streets and all of that, it begins from how much we run or how quick we're able to run our census. The basic is that let us know exactly how many we are in this country. It's as simple as that. If you're 250 million, let us know how to plan and put up a budget that will cover or cater for the needs of 250 million people. Not just assumptions. Well, that's about the size of the package on the show today. Thank you so much to everyone that reached out. The calls, the messages. Unfortunately, on social media, I can't take all of your messages. I see you on Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ Michael. I see you, Dayo Dada. I see you, Alberto Ilola, and other people. Tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow is Wednesday, rather. The midweek edition of the situation will come in from 4 to 5:30. But by 1 o'clock, it's going to be midweek politics. Said Fuad and I will be here to also look at issues, topical issues that can help us to get better as a people. Don't forget to keep your dial locked on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is OPEYEMI AKINYODE. Stay out of trouble, and don't forget to join us our next program. The news in full, and by 6 o'clock, Sport Cruise returns.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.